And vibrational productivity is the highest form of productivity. If you were to start a business and you had 5 different business options available to you, if you're at the vibration of success, it doesn't matter which business you choose. What do you think the end result's going to be?
Success.
And if you're at the vibration of failure with those same 5 business options, doesn't matter which one you choose, what do you think the end result's going to be? All right, welcome to this episode of Change Your Reality. I'm your host, Nick Breau, and today we're doing a segment called the 30-Minute Breakthrough. This is where we bring in one of our audience members who has a specific circumstance that they want to work on, and we see how big of a shift we can create in about 30 minutes. So today we are welcoming Marlie-Grace to the show. I believe, Marlie, you're somewheres in the States, on the West Coast, maybe?
I'm on the West
Where are
Coast,
you
but I'm actually in
located?
Canada.
Oh, you're in Canada. Awesome. So you're probably like in Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm in Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, cool. Okay, so kind of West Coast. I consider Calgary
Kinda.
central, but I haven't been out that way yet. So awesome. I didn't
Okay,
realize you're in
fair enough.
Canada. Cool. Cool. Awesome. It's funny because I'm in Canada and everybody always assumes that I'm in the States. So now I just did exactly what everybody else does to me.
It's okay.
So how long have you told me you study like a Course in Miracles and a few different teachers? How long have you been studying this world of self-help for?
Um, I feel like I've been reading self-help books since like elementary school. I was one of those weird kids that actually liked to learn. So I've been like perusing the Indigo help self-help section since elementary school, but A Course in Miracles is something that I picked up just in the last few months.
Awesome. Good for you. And are you doing it every day?
I try to. So I'm on the Clubhouse app. And through the Clubhouse app, there's a Course in Miracles course that you can do on a daily basis. One that's at 4 a.m. my time, so really difficult to catch, but another one that's at
Yeah.
8, a little bit friendlier. So I try to do
Yeah.
that every day, and then there's a little there's a little conversation that you can have after the course where you just like connect with other people who are in A Course in Miracles. It's really nice.
Awesome. You really are a go-getter because before this call you even told me that you were doing my 33 aligned program, which is requires a significant amount of commitment if you want to do those things every morning and evening, and it sounds like you stuck with it. So good job to you.
I'm committed.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm committed to try to help you have a breakthrough today. So what are we going to work on? Where do you want to have a breakthrough in your reality?
I just want to get out of this rut of burnout. I want to like regain that sense of passion again. Um, I just feel like burnout took everything out of me. Like I lost
Okay.
interest in my work, I lost interest in school, I lost interest in socialization, and I'm like a very social individual. So yeah,
Okay.
like I just want to get back to feeling like myself again, especially now that like we're moving out of the pandemic and back into like the new normal. I'd really love
Yeah.
to just be able to contribute again.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So let's kind of create a blueprint of what currently looks like and what we'll call it template reality you looks like. And we'll see if we can kind of identify what that gap is between the two of you. And then we'll see how much of that gap we can close today.
Sounds good.
So right now, when we in the context of this burnt out experience, how does the current version of you feel? So you said lack of passion.
Mhm.
If you would identify the
Disinterested.
top emotions that come up for you, disinterested, what emotions would you
uh,
say surface the most?
um Disinterested, heavy.
Heavy. So
Like
there's
I
like a
feel like
heavy
this
feeling.
yeah, it's like a really heavy feeling. um and just tired,
Heavy and
exhausted.
tired.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if you were to take a second and kind of close your eyes and visualize that parallel reality version of you who is living the reality they want to be living, who is feeling the way they want to be feeling, who's doing what they want to be doing, how does that version of you feel compared to the current version of you?
That version of me is energetic, social, passionate. Yeah.
Okay. And what beliefs or perspectives does that version of you have that would be different than current version of you?
I believe in myself. I believe that I'm intelligent. I believe that I'm worthy.
Perfect. And what action steps, what things are that version of you doing or taking that current version of you isn't?
That person is like out and about, networking with strangers, um, going to like a local coffee shop, just like putting themselves out there, just like confident. Yeah.
Confident. Perfect. Okay. So the key things that kind of stuck out for me in this comparison of current reality versus template reality is really the tired, exhausted feeling, the heavy feeling, but also the believing in myself, believing that I'm worthy, believing that I'm intelligent. Do you have a lot of tight, tense neck and shoulder issues?
Yes. Yes. Like,
Okay.
yeah. Masseuses always like, they always mention like, oh, that's a very tight knot, and like nobody has been able to get it out.
Perfect. Okay, well, we might be able to get it out today because from a physical vantage point, what typically causes that tightness and the tension in the neck and shoulders is emotions of stress, pressure, overwhelm, and not good enough.
Those are all the
Do you feel
emotions
like
I
it?
feel daily.
Perfect. And I could kind of read through the lines as we were comparing these two versions of you that that was probably where we needed to go for you today. Now, you said that there was this heavy feeling present, right? And if you could tune into that heavy feeling, can you tell where that heavy feeling sits in your body?
Yeah, it sits right on my shoulders, right here, all day
Perfect.
long.
And and if that heavy feeling was tied to an emotion, what emotion would that heavy feeling be tied to?
Fed up.
Fed up?
um,
Okay.
just, just, I picture like a grumpy old man, like just very. I don't know how to describe it. Like just, it's something that's just had enough.
Okay, perfect. So let's start there. Let's use that as our starting point. We're going to do a little bit of belief tree work. Are you familiar with the belief tree process at all?
No.
Okay, so the belief tree process is a process I use and teach. I have been for a long time. It evolved from tapping. Have you ever heard of tapping or EFT?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a process that evolved with tapping. And what I realized after years of doing tapping work was it wasn't so much the tapping that was getting the shifts, it was the using the right probing statements. It was the reframing work. So it was the things that I was doing while I was tapping. And that kind of evolved into this belief tree process. And really the belief tree process is about understanding that a negative emotion or any emotion cannot exist if there's not an underlying perspective that fuels it. So the reason
Mm.
we feel any emotion, so Abraham Hicks says emotions are your guidance system and they are guiding you to the beliefs that you're practicing. And when you can identify all of the underlying beliefs, because oftentimes these beliefs are subconscious, people practice an emotion of not good enough, but they don't know why, because at the age maybe of 6, they decided I'm not good enough because I'm being bullied, but their conscious mind as an adult isn't kind of associating them together. So with this belief tree process,
Mm.
we can use the right probing statements to identify what are these perspectives fueling this heavy feeling, And then if we can reframe you out of them and invalidate those perspectives, that heavy feeling and those other emotions start to go away. Sound like fun?
Okay, that sounds, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to we're going to start with that heavy feeling on your shoulders. 0 to 10, how strong would you say that heavy feeling is? Now, for you, the challenge, because you're a very analytical person, we don't want you to analyze these questions, these answers. We just want you to kind of drop into your heart, ground as much as you can, and just go with whatever answer comes up first without even thinking if you can.
8.
Okay, so that heavy feeling, it's an 8. And
Yeah.
what's the first thing that pops in your mind when I say that heavy feeling? I feel that way because first thing
I
that
feel
pops
that
in your
way
head.
because I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Perfect. And 0 to 10, how strong is that feeling of I'm not enough?
9.
9. Perfect. And that I'm not enough feeling, I feel that way because
I feel that way because I feel I haven't reached any of my goals.
perfect. So can I word that as I'm not there yet?
Yeah.
Is that a good way to word that?
Yes.
Perfect. So I've reached some of my goals. I haven't reached nearly all of the goals that I'd like to accomplish in my reality. Does that mean I'm not good enough?
No.
Perfect. So anybody on this planet who's automatically not accomplished their goals, they're automatically not good enough.
No.
Okay. So this belief that I'm not good enough because I haven't accomplished my goals yet, does that even make sense?
Saying it out loud, no. No, it
Perfect.
doesn't
Good.
make
So
sense.
can you take a second and really acknowledge and feel this new awareness that this doesn't make sense? Achievement of goals has nothing to do with somebody's value or level of good enoughness. Agreed?
Yes.
So if we go back to that not good enough feeling now, is it still a 9 or is it shifted a little bit?
It's shifted.
And
Feels
what number would you give that feeling now?
like a 6.
Perfect. We're going to bring that down to a 6. And that feeling that I'm not good enough. I still feel like I'm not good enough because
I still feel like I'm not good enough because I've I've given it my all and I don't see the results.
okay, I don't see results. Can I throw the word yet on the end of that statement?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what's these results that you're talking about? Can you name one of these results? Is it an Academy Award? Is it acceptance into Harvard? These results that you're talking about here, what are they?
It's acceptance into medical school.
Medical school. Perfect. So are you telling me that everybody who's applied to medical school and not gotten in is automatically not good enough?
No.
Okay. Now, based on our conversation before we went live here in this recording, it sounds like you've been through an incredible journey in the last 2 years. You've been studying some really great teachers. You've been doing a course in miracles. Your awareness sounds like it's opened up a lot compared to where it was maybe 3 years or 4 years or 5 years ago. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And is it possible that you're on a path being guided by your inner being?
Yes.
And is it possible that this path has something even greater for you than medical school? And maybe it is medical school, and maybe you're still on your way there, but maybe your inner being wants you to learn certain things before you get into medical school. Or maybe all of
Yes.
these things you're learning now is part of a higher path that your conscious mind isn't aware of. Is that possible?
Yes.
Good. So just because you're not there yet, does that mean you're not good enough?
No.
Of course not, right? Can you acknowledge that belief doesn't make sense?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Good. So this feeling of I'm not good enough, is it still a 6? Has it shifted a little bit more?
It's like a 3.
3? Perfect. And I want this one all the way down to the 0 because this is a common one and it really holds people back. So that feeling, I'm not good enough, I still feel that way because
I still feel that way because I feel like I haven't made my parents proud.
perfect. I haven't made my parents proud. Okay, let's talk about that one. So I've worked with clients. There's a few that comes to mind. One which was like one of the top science researchers at Harvard, whose parents were so strict, so hard on him that even having full scholarships and even achieving the pinnacle in his career, he still didn't get that validation from his parents.
Oh
Now,
my gosh.
is that because he's not good enough? Or is that because of the programming that his parents carry?
No, you're right. It's because of that programming. It's because of that programming his parents carry.
Absolutely. And a lot of people I've worked with, they had parents who weren't even able to tell them that they loved them. And it's not because the parents didn't love them, but it's because, again, they had their own insecurities and it didn't feel safe to be vulnerable even to their own kids.
Mm.
But just because they weren't verbalizing it and saying it, did it mean that those parents did not love their kids? They were still loved, right?
Yes, of course.
So our good enoughness, it's inherently there, right? We are co-created by Source. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And Source is infinitely intelligent and unconditionally loving. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yes.
So would infinite intelligence, which wouldn't make mistakes, that is unconditionally loving, ever create a version of you that is not good enough?
No.
And even if your parents can't see that you're good enough, does it still mean that it's not there?
No.
Of course not. So once you truly understand who and what you really are, which is that extension of Source, you're inherently good enough. You can't not be. Agreed?
Yes.
So, this belief that I'm not good enough, can you agree that this belief just doesn't make sense?
Yes. You're right.
And the parents not expressing it might just be their form of trying to teach tough love and trying to get you to work hard,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it doesn't mean that they're not proud of you, and it doesn't mean that they don't believe that you're good enough. So this feeling, I'm not good enough, is it still a 3 or we've shifted a little bit more?
No. We're at a 1. Maybe even a 0.
Perfect. It's verse 0. Perfect. Now that heavy feeling on your shoulders that we started off with,
Mm-hmm.
my guess is that was the pressure to be good enough. Is that possible?
Yeah. 100%.
Do your shoulders feel a little bit lighter?
Yes.
And that heavy feeling that we started off with, was it still an 8 or is that shifted now?
No, it's like a 4. I haven't felt I
Perfect.
haven't felt this in a long time.
Excellent. Right? So when you go into your massage therapist next time and they ask you about that knot in your shoulder and where did it go? What did you do? You said, "Oh, I just did some woo-woo magic emotional work with some guy online." So
No. It's
that that heavy feeling's still a 4. I feel that way because what comes up next?
I feel that way because I can just be hard on myself.
Perfect. So I feel that way because of pressure that I put on myself.
Yeah.
Because of pressure. Perfect. And by the way, so those of you who are facilitators in my facilitator training program or who are studying the belief tree process, what we're doing now is we went down one branch. Did you notice how we went down through the questions? We cleared a few things and we worked our way back up and all the way back up to this heavy feeling. And now we're going down to another emotion, which is this pressure. So now we're going down a different branch in the tree. So that feeling of pressure on your shoulders, 0 to 10, how strong is that?
Like a 6.
6. Perfect. And that feeling of pressure, I feel that way because
I feel that way because I'm supposed to be doing something in this world. I'm supposed to be
ooh, I
productive.
like this one. I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be productive. Ooh, this is a good one, another common one. Okay, so I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be productive. There's a documentary I watched on Netflix a few years ago. I think it was called something like, excuse me, because I can't remember the title of it, but it was like The Little Farm or The Small Farm. And it was about, I think it was a couple who bought this smaller commercial farm. And there was all these different aspects to the farm. And one thing would go wrong with one part of the farm. They would do a whole bunch of stuff to fix it, but then that would break another part of the farm. And then they would do a whole bunch of stuff to fix that, and that would break another part of the farm. And then they would go do a bunch of stuff to try to fix that. And again, it was like just a mess of fixing one thing, it would break something else. Then near the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the guy was just so fed up. They just kind of, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to take a step back and I'm just going to just let it go. And magically, all of the parts of the farm started to fall into this perfect balance where everything was taking care of something else and the farm started to thrive. So once they got out of their own way, it organically took care of itself, right? So my belief is that our planet, if we all got out of our own way, if we all allowed ourselves to fully be ourselves without any of this programming and allowed ourselves to follow that path of highest excitement, that we are doing and being exactly who and what we're meant to be. So you, just by being you, you are giving to this world exactly what you came here to give it. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we are all meant to be our authentic self, right?
Mhm.
Again, if we're all co-created by Source and infinite intelligence, of course Source is going to create me exactly how I'm meant to be, right? And same with
Mhm.
you and same with everybody else. So the more we allow ourselves to be our authentic self, and the more we allow ourselves to follow our passion and our purpose and our excitement, which is what we're meant to be doing, the more we contribute to the planet. How does that sound to you?
That sounds perfect.
Does that bring some relief to that feeling on your shoulders?
Yeah.
That your only
Yeah.
job is to be you.
Yeah. That,
Now,
yeah.
this notion of I'm supposed to be doing something, what if you're already doing it? What if the supposed to that's in your mind, what if there's two supposed tos? What if there's the supposed to that our inner critic feeds
Mhm.
and the supposed to that our inner being feeds? And I would say by you studying things like A Course in Miracles, researching the stuff that I'm teaching, following your excitement in the ways that you're following it, that's what you're really supposed to be doing.
Mm,
What
I
are your
like
thoughts
that.
on that?
I like that. I like that because I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying A Course in Miracles. I'm enjoying learning something completely different.
Our inner beings guide us through excitement, right?
Mm,
One of the teachers I follow, Bashar, has what he calls the formula of highest excitement, which states that at any given moment, the action step for you to take of all of the things that are available to you is the one that excites you the most. And in
okay.
those moments, it's not always going to be a 10 out of 10 excitement. Sometimes the most exciting things of all available to you might be a 3 out of 4. Sometimes the most exciting thing might be to go take a nap or go eat a bowl of Cheerios, right? But we are always being guided through our inner guidance to our next step along the path. And the path, it's not a physical path. It's not our inner being saying, go to Tim Hortons and then go to the bookstore and then go here, go here, go there. It's a vibrational path because we walk the path through our vibration, through our expansion. Every time we shift a belief, every time we clear a negative emotion, we become a brand new person at a brand new vibration, attracting a brand new reality.
I
Make
like that.
sense?
Yes.
So, back to this topic of pressure, even doing nothing is doing something.
Okay.
And sometimes doing nothing is the best something that we can do because when we do nothing, we can slow down and listen. And we can
Yeah.
slow down and tune into that guidance. And we can slow down and fill up our cup, right? Our energetic cup. Most people, when they feel burnt out and depleted and tired, it's because their energetic cup is empty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they're too much in go, 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 do, 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 accomplish, 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 accomplish. And they're not slowing down and getting into the receiving mode, which is the meditating, the grounding, the being present, which is what fills that cup back up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if I give you full permission to allow yourself to slow down, to allow yourself to follow your highest excitement, to know that you can't get it wrong. How does that feel?
Relieving.
Good. Can you take a second and feel that feeling of relief? And that feeling of pressure, is it still a 6 or has it shifted a little bit more now?
Feels like a 2.
Awesome. And that feeling of pressure, I still feel that pressure because
I still feel that pressure because of my inner critic.
okay.
It's
And what does
telling
your
me
inner
to,
critic
you're
say?
lazy. You're lazy.
Have you ever heard, you haven't read my book yet, have you?
No, not yet.
In my book, I talk about vibrational productivity.
Okay.
And vibrational productivity is the highest form of productivity. If you were to start a business and you had 5 different business options available to you, if you're at the vibration of success, it doesn't matter which business you choose. What do you think the end result's going to be? And if you're at the vibration of failure with those
Success.
same 5 business options, doesn't matter which one you choose, what do you think the end result's going to be? So it's never really about the action steps. It's
Failure.
more about the energy that you're practicing and the vibration that you're practicing as you step into those action steps. Does that make sense? So if being lazy replenishes
Yes.
you, if being lazy connects you to your inner guidance, if being lazy attunes you to your intuition where you can download the best solutions to the biggest problems, is lazy a bad thing? It's one of the most powerful things that somebody
No.
can do and learn.
No.
And it's also one of the things that 3D, old school, most of society still shuns. Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So can you take another nice deep breath in and tune into more of that relief? Knowing that there's nothing you need to do, there's nothing you need to solve, there's nothing you need to figure out. All you need to do is relax, get in the receiving mode, let your cup fill up, and follow the impulses of what excites you and let your inner being guide you to the next steps. How does that feel? Good. And that pressure, is it still at 2 or has it dropped down a little bit more?
I'm excited.
Good. And that feeling on your
It's
shoulders was
gone.
a 4. How does that feel now? 1.
Mm-hmm.
Virtually gone.
1.
And how do you
Maybe
feel?
even 0.
Do you feel lighter than when we first started?
Yeah.
You feel different? Do you feel like you're... Remember this
Yes.
template reality version of you that we created at the beginning of the call?
Yeah.
Do you feel a little bit more like that version of you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel excited.
Good.
For some reason, I feel like
it's because that heavy
enthusiastic.
feeling was covering that
I'm not sure why.
Right? It's like procrastination. So when people have procrastination, the reason they procrastinate is typically because of fear of failure, right? Feelings of not good enoughness. So I'm not going to succeed, so why bother? Right? So it's when there's a lack of those positive emotions, it's because they're being covered up by these negative emotions. So the belief in yourself, does it feel like it's stronger now? The worthiness that you deserve it.
Yeah.
Does it feel stronger now?
Yeah. I feel like...
And taking these action steps where you can go out and about and be social the way that you want it to. Does that feel more possible now? Good.
Yeah. I feel like going right
and
now.
That tired, exhausted
I feel like getting out of the house.
Like it's mostly gone now? Awesome. Good. So you're good. So your homework for the next
with like energy
week or 2, that template reality version of you, did you bookmark it?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be that person.
Yes.
So shifting our reality is not about achieving the reality. It's about being the person that exists in that reality. And by holding and being that version of you, even for 3 to 5 days, your reality will begin to remold itself to match that version of you. So even after this call, if you feel inspired or later today, go back to that template reality version of you, write down the way they feel, write down the perspectives they're choosing, write down the action steps they're taking, and then just don't try, be that version of you, right? To the best of your ability, of course.
Okay.
And it might take a bit of practice, but work on it. And you'll send me an update in a week or 2. Let me know how you're making out. Absolutely. You did amazing today. Any questions, any comments, anything you want to share before we wrap up?
I just...
That's a good place to be.
I feel good.
And if ever any of this old stuff creeps back up, all you have to do is say, okay, so that emotion, look at it, observe it, and ask yourself, I feel this way because. And see if you can identify the perspective that you're practicing that's fueling it.
Okay, I feel this.
And see if you can shift your way out of it. See if you can invalidate that negative perspective. Because it's like I said earlier, emotions are just a guidance system. And when we've got negative emotions that are coming up, they're just there to tell us that there's a negative limiting perspective that's being practiced, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And using these right statements, we can dig that stuff up and work through it and see how big of a shift.
Yeah.
Like you even look energetically, you feel brighter. So I can tell you just had a really good shift. Awesome. Thank you so much for playing.
Perfect.
This
Thank
closes
you.
out our episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show or join our membership community where we do these calls for 3 hours every week with our members, you can find all the details on the website at nickbreau.com. Bye for now. That's it for today's episode of Change Your Reality. If you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, to join our membership community, or to be trained as a facilitator, you can find all the details on the website at nickbreau.com.